We're finally to the part where we get to determine the message format. And this is really important to understanding up front because it's ultimately going to be what we build. Shakespeare once said, to PowerPoint, Excel, Word, or email, that is the question. Well, Shakespeare didn't actually say that, but it is of critical importance. How you're going to present that information is exactly how they're going to interpret it. You also have to figure out how much work you want to do each time that this type of deliverable is requested. So something that can be automated may be more suitable for particular requests. And really, this is all about understanding who is your audience, who will get the item, what are their needs, how do they like to or prefer to receive information, what did they specifically ask for, and ultimately, what is going to give them the biggest bang for their buck. There are two things that I think are really important to consider: knowledge level and their particular role within the organization. The first consideration is knowledge level. Are you going to be talking to experts or novices, generalists or executives? For an expert, we want to keep processes succinct because they already know, and we want to really focus on why a particular decision is optimal. Conversely, if we're talking to a novice, we may want to focus more on the process and the explanation of how we reach that conclusion so that they can learn the same as you and how you ultimately reached that conclusion. We'll want to define any and all technical terminology because they're not going to be familiar with that type of stuff, or they probably won't be, and we want to make sure that we outline the benefits clearly. A generalist and executive are kind of those in-between areas. When you're talking to a generalist, you really want to make sure that you understand their knowledge base and present a healthy mix between what they know with a quick review and what they don't know with an extended focus. Now, executives are totally different. They really just typically want executive summaries to understand what approvals they ultimately need to give and outline any resources that they need to sign off on as well. The second element to understand is a role. So, are you going to be talking to your day-to-day contact, who is typically either an expert or generalist, an executive, or tactical leads that are on different teams? If you're talking to your day-to-day, they're typically very well versed in SEO and understanding what is feasible for their company. Common needs are data and story to convince others to support their cause. And an example of this may be deliverables combining overview with tactical substance. An executive typically has limited time with high-impact decisions. They need to be able to quickly decide if an action is right or wrong for their business. So with day-to-days and executives, data and story are absolutely critical. Executives need summaries, clear next steps with approvals that they need to sign off on called out, and high-impact visuals, particularly data visualization that allows them to quickly interpret information. Tactical leads, conversely, whether you're working with developers or specific content managers, etc., are the implementers. They're experts in their field but may not necessarily know everything about our field. And it's really important for them to understand what is being requested of them and the priority level, because they're trying to build up plans for their own team and organize everything, as well as including potential timelines that you hope to achieve. What really helps tactical leads is a prioritized checklist of requests so they can go through and understand each action item. Finally, as a one-off little pro tip here, I always like to build and use templates. Especially building them early on can be very useful because it can minimize edits later on in the process. And this is particularly useful with PowerPoints, which can have a lot of tiny tweaks here and there.